Hello and welcome to Tabletop Oddity. My name is Jay, and today isn't really a happy kind of subject. So normally I'd be like and subscribe and stuff like that, but in this case, forget all that. It's not a great thing to have to come on and talk about, and normally I wouldn't come on and talk about stuff like this. I think because I don't really want to poke the fire or stoke the fire, what have you. But there's a couple of reasons why I think I need to talk about it, and we'll get to them in a moment. But essentially, there was a Facebook post by Nick Freeman on last night saying that he'd been disqualified from the Worlds because his Adepticon run was null and void, basically. Now, initially, he thought that was because of the tokens he used, but that was not the case. We now believe it to be the way that his tokens were shuffled. So essentially, for cheating, right? Now, first and foremost, I don't condone cheating for obvious reasons. But secondly, I'm not necessarily sure that every mistake should be chastised as cheating. And I also believe that intention is a great part of cheating. When I say great part, I feel like you need to be trying to cheat to really actually cheat, if that makes sense. So, yeah, it's not really a fun subject. There was a lot of hate and anger in the comments and stuff like that. And on the other hand, a lot of people have shown great love for Nick Freeman because he runs the blog Impact Legion. So the two reasons that I'm actually talking about it are, first and foremost, he posted that on Facebook. It was an open context. There has been a statement, which I'll talk about as well, from somebody who's good friends with him. And secondly, for those of you astute to have noticed, I released a podcast just yesterday doing an interview with Nick Freeman. Now, obviously, that was before this revelation. In fact, it was recorded on Thursday last week, and the news broke about this Tuesday night. But I'd released my podcast at 7 p.m. and it broke at 12 p.m. UK time. So I'm not sure what I would have done if that news would have broke between that and that, but I just wanted to say. But because of that reason, literally the last video on my channel now, it's about Nick Freeman interviews, so I sort of feel like I have to come on and address it a little bit. I don't a bit of me, do I want to go through the video and talk about, is this cheating, is this not cheating, or do we just look at it holistically? Do we talk about the fact that he's stepping down from the Legion, Impact Legion thing? There's so many questions and queries and that. I don't really know. I've got the video up, so we'll talk about what the incident actually is and was, and then we'll talk about whether or not you think it's cheating, think it's not. The one thing I would say on average in general is never assign to malice what can be assigned to stupidity. And I'm not calling Nick stupid. He's a very smart man, but in the heat of battles, your mind can be on other things, and you could just neglect that. And that I just want to raise that as a possibility. Could he have gained an advantage from this? Yeah, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So in the video, what you're seeing here is a video from the 5th Trooper. I highly recommend you check those guys out because they are incredible. So yeah, you will check this out. So what it boils down to is he has his command card. He plays his command card. And he's trying to find out which token he wants to put on the table. So he's going through his tokens, and when he finds the one he wants, which I think in this case is an operative, he picks it up. Right, fair enough. And when I first saw this, I was like, I don't even see an issue. But what the actual crime is here is he then doesn't properly shuffle his tokens. He doesn't shuffle them at all. He'll put it on the table. In fact, let me speed this up so we don't have to sit here and watch. But you keep in mind it might go a little bit faster than normal. But what happens, basically, he does his move. He's playing No Time for Sorrow, so they're going to get their free move. And then I think LJ is going to go first, because it's his turn. Now, the only thing he does do is he sort of blobs his tokens together. And I just wanted to get to that part. Now, initially when I first saw this, I was like, oh, well, he's simply LJ looking sexy there. I just thought, oh, well, he's negated to shuffle his tokens, right? That's what I thought. And I was like, oh, that's understandable. See, he puts them just in a row. Fine. Yeah, that is literally it. So it's not just this turn. It happens on more than one turn. In fact, it happens in more than one game, because I believe earlier on in the video it happens as well. And I was like, oh, well, if you just forget to shuffle it once, fine. But if you forget to shuffle it a few times, that's a little bit more awkward. And that may be the case, right? But does that scream cheating to me back when I see it? No. Like, if he was looking at them, like, when it wasn't time to look at them, I'd be like, that's a bit dodgy. And, you know, people throw all kinds of accusations and stuff like that, but you look at the video and I don't necessarily think that's cheating off, like, intentionally. Like, you can't confirm that. It might be intentional, it might not be intentional, but you can't be 100% certain. And a guy I strongly admire, Kingsley, he said he's gone through the games and he can't tell whether or not there's an advantage or not an advantage there. And he said that he'd played him and, if anything, he thought his choices were unlucky. So, I mean, the non-cheating side of this would be he's literally looking for the token he wants, takes the token he wants, and then just puts them together. And he's not even thinking about where the rest of the tokens are. The cheating side of that would be he's doing that so he can remember where they are, and he's going to get the advantages to pick his moves when he needs to. Now, you know, if you knew what the exact order of your tokens, then, and you deliberately have done that, that is obviously cheating. In the very worst, in the best case for Nick, I think that this is a stronger mistake. And I think disqualifying him was probably the right move, right? That's a tricky thing to say as well, because I know some people are like, oh, he's not getting his world's invite and stuff like that, but you got to err on the side of caution there. So I'm not saying he cheated, but I think it was right to be disqualified. I think both of those two things can be true. And he may or may not have cheated. I don't know him very well. I messaged him on Facebook to say, will you do an interview with me? He said yes. We had a chat. We spoke 5 minutes beforehand. We spoke maybe 2 minutes afterwards. And that was about it. We had no close relationship or anything like that. So don't feel like I'm best friends with him or anything like that just because I interviewed him. That's not the case. I don't really know too much about him other than what you saw on the interview. So I'm not strongly affiliated with him, even though I did do a podcast with him. So just keep that in mind. But I still would say I can't be certain, right? But on the other hand, I look at that and you could say there is definitely room for potential cheating there. And whether or not it's intentional or not, it's probably right to DQ him. Now, what I don't then think is right is because we don't know he cheated or he didn't cheat. I don't then think it's right for everybody to be like, cheater. I think it's ambiguous enough. And considering the commitment that he has had to the community with his blog and all that kind of stuff, I would definitely very easily be happy to give him a second chance. Yeah, I'd maybe be like, Nick, you can't do that anymore. You need to properly shuffle them. You should have been shuffling them from the start. But I would maybe give him a second chance. However, that doesn't look like it's going to happen, and I don't know if this is the right opinion. I'm not saying this is even the right opinion. If you watch that back and you say he was cheating and he should be disqualified and banned and stuff like that, I can't necessarily prove you wrong. There's no evidence for me to say, no, that's an honest mistake. And if you firmly believe that that is an honest mistake, I can't even prove that right. I can't prove that he didn't gain an advantage by knowing that his core troopers were there and his whatever was there. Maybe he knew that. There's no way of getting into the mental state of the mind of the incident. Now, I just think that there's so many times where I have made mistakes unintentionally. I don't think apart from being a kid, I've probably not cheated for decades. I think there was a tournament that I went to just at the weekend, and there was an incident where I think I had different configs on my DLT, on my Death Troopers, and I'm not 100%, I think I got it the right way around, but and then I changed my behavior. Once I realised that I wasn't 100% certain, I made a system so I could tell which one was which, because I didn't number them, and I probably should have numbered them. Technically, that's what you should have done. But again, this is an honest mistake. I didn't intentionally swap them if I did or I didn't. And then what I did, I was like, well, I'll have this one on my left, and for every troop that's on my left, that'll be that one. And in the games where I do my battle reports, I have literally picked up the wrong dice and rolled the wrong dice. In the first battle report that I did, I inadvertently gave Palpatine an extra move or something. Mistakes happen, right, for sure. I've made mistakes. You will probably make mistakes. Now, if you're at the highest level of competition, people, they expect your mistakes not to happen. However, this is a mistake that is continual. Like, the mistake isn't the fact that he didn't shuffle them, because he doesn't shuffle them at any point. So, like, is it a mistake or habit? So let's go to the I'm not going to show this on screen, I'll just read it a little bit. Let's go to LJ's statement, which is a statement from Nick, really. He's posted it on Facebook, it's on Discord as well. So people were a little bit annoyed with the original wording of the message from Nick because he thought it was just a token, so everybody was like, oh, it's outrageous that they do it for the tokens. It's not the tokens, we believe it's the way that they were shuffled. And essentially he says, like, he couldn't believe anybody would accuse him, like, he's not cheated. And somebody said, I'm not even 100% sure this is, but he quotes somebody and says, I've witnessed Nick play like this in every game I've seen. It's simply a poor play habit, and he'll rectify it going forward. And I can sort of believe that. I think when you play the game quite a lot, if you get into a habit of just doing what he did, maybe it's a habit that he's just done and it's not an intentional cheating maneuver. Conversely, I can see why people would think the opposite of that. And as I said, there is no right or wrong answer. He has then said he said this is a kind of mistake you don't come back from, and that's fine. And at this point, I'm more concerned about how my opponents see the events, all of whom I admire and respect, and more than going to Worlds itself. He said he's going to take a break. He said he's going to end the Patreon, but the website he's going to keep up, which I honestly, like, it's a strong reaction, but the community's reaction is quite strong, so I completely understand Nick's point of view there. I'm hopefully visibly torn on the issue. I think it's not great for the community as a whole to have this kind of stuff happen. It's obviously not great for Nick one way or another. Even if you believe he cheated, like, he got caught, and even if you don't believe he cheated, well, everybody thinks, well, not everybody, but several people are going to think that he cheated. And the evidence is damning. Like, I think it's 100% certainly possible that he was gaining an advantage. Now, it's 100% possible that he wasn't gaining an advantage intentionally, and maybe he didn't even realize what he was doing, or maybe, like, as I said, he didn't even know that he wasn't tracking the counters or whatever, but he could have been, and there's no way of being certain. So, I mean, what have I added to this? I feel weird even making this video, because it's just not good for the community as a whole, is it really? I don't want to... we had a strong member of the community providing quality content, that much I'm pretty sure. And the brief time that I have spoken to him, I'll say he was a nice guy. And then you have an accusation of cheating, which obviously he's going to deny, and there's no 100% way to prove conclusively. That's essentially where we're at, and it's awkward, it's unfortunate, it's understandable that people are angry about that, and it's understandable that some people are just saying it could be an accident, get over it, kind of thing. I do agree with the disqualification. I know I've seen some comments saying, like, they shouldn't have disqualified him, but I think I think we should be capable of separating both potential benefit that is illegal, as in accidental cheating, and separate the punishment for that kind of thing. So we can say that you may have gained an advantage with no way of us knowing, but we have to err on the side of caution and presume that you did. We're not going to ban you from future because it's impossible to tell if that was a deliberate act or not, but we're going to say you don't get your reward from that event. I think that's what I would have liked, and I think that's sort of what Asmodee FFG has done. They haven't done anything untoward in my mind. Asmodee and FFG seem to have done things correctly, and yeah, I'm going to stop talking, because whatever happens here, we're going to get a lot of angry people in the comments, and it's not going to be friendly, it's not going to be good. And as I said at the start, I don't condone cheating, but I don't count every mistake as a cheat, even if it benefits you. So that's where I am. That's where I stand. I don't feel bad too bad about making the video, in the sense that I released a podcast just with him hours before that this broke, and he posted it on Facebook. So don't hate me. I'm not trying to you know, I'm not drama alert or anything like that. But it's just sad, I think, really. I think anybody who's involved in the community will probably just call this as a sad thing, one way or the other. Anybody who likes the game, I think it's a sad state of affairs. Sad. I got nothing else really to say. As I said, don't like or anything on this video. If you're interested in Legion, then I'm going to cover everything on Legion, even the upsetting moments. So do subscribe. I'm still going to plug that part of it. And comments wise, guys, I mean, I'm going to ask for balance. Try and be a little bit more balanced. You know, if you're angry about it, try and calm down. And if you're convinced it was a mistake, try and see the other side of it. It could very easily both sides be legit. So, long ass video. I do apologise for that. Bit more rambly than usual, bit less energy than usual, but hopefully you can understand that. Try and have a beautiful day though. On the plus side, it's one gentleman, one incident. FFG Asmodee have reacted so they think somebody misplayed or cheated. Boom, sorted. That's good. In the past, we'd seen with X-Wing, there was a guy who deliberately changed his style on stream, and the way they handled that was absolutely atrocious. I'm not gonna lie. They did. The guy that he played still lost that game, and his next opponent counted as a win for him. So it screwed over the guy who cheated, and he literally only lost one game because of it. It was pretty sad, and a lot of people were angry about that. I think even I was a bit angry about that, but I wasn't even that bothered at the time. And you know, so we have, hopefully it's a consistent message, and hopefully it's a lesson we can learn is to, for everybody, just be a bit more cautious with doing it. If you spread them out on the table, then which the rules apparently don't provide for. But if you do that, make sure you shuffle them. Make sure if you pick one and you look at it, make sure then you shuffle the rest, all that kind of stuff. Bad times. Try and be measured in these comments. We'll see if that's true. Try and have a beautiful day though. I mean, the game's still great and everything, and there's events to come. So, you know, try and have a good time when you play it. Goodbye.